Please be seated. Whew, that was a long gospel. Everyone's ready for a rest. Feed my sheep. I was, when I was new and a young clergy back in my youth, I served in California. And my first call, my first job, was a church in Menlo Park. And I came there, and I had a pretty broad set of tasks in my job. I was in many ways shadowing the rector to learn how to be a rector. I was doing some pastoral care. I was doing some outreach. And I was doing the thing that no one really said out loud, but to be the young person to make the church grow. Because that's what young people did, right? If you put a young priest having kids in the church, all of a sudden people will show up. So, that was the underpinning of it, but that's true of every church. I'm not calling out this one. And so, in the course of my time there, after maybe 6 months or so, someone showed up. And if you know Menlo Park, it is a very wealthy community. It is a very nice community. And this woman comes to our church, and she says that she works with a Catholic home for women that is in our neighborhood, but it is a safe house. And it is for women who are coming out of incarceration, who are in recovery, and they are looking with churches to partner with, or anyone to partner with. And so me and this woman talk. There are a few things I notice first off. We are a fairly traditional church when it comes to outreach. We like to do things. We like to be involved. I had continually heard the need for outreach activities that could involve kids, right? The whole family, that could be a broad appeal. So having a partnership with a safe home where I couldn't invite volunteers to was maybe not the first thing everyone was hoping I would find. But it's what came to our door. And so we began this really slow partnership, a very slow partnership, that in many ways frustrated a lot of people, because what folks wanted was to just go volunteer. Well, why can't we just take a group there and we'll go do things? It's like, well, we can't. And slowly I got permission to start going and praying and leading conversations. And it was this incredible group of women. And it changed and shifted. Many of them had never seen a female priest before. Like, I was an anomaly. This is a Catholic center, so they had nuns and things, but then there's me. And not only am I a priest, but I am young. I looked very young. I know you think I look young now, but it was, I got a lot of teen mom comments in my 20s, in my late 20s. But we built this relationship. Now, the other complication was that this was a Catholic home for women, so this wasn't exactly an evangelism opportunity for us, right? These were not future members of our congregation. In many ways, we had to walk a very strict line that this was not, a situation where we were being invited to, come to the Episcopal Church. We were just being invited to be Christian and to find our way into relationship. And we did get to a point where more of our specific volunteers were allowed to come and be a part of this group. But it was a slow burn. But the story I want to tell you about this ministry came a couple years in, and it came on Thanksgiving. So we did what every church does around Thanksgiving. Oh my goodness, can we feed them? Right? That's what you do on Thanksgiving. You feed people, right? We wanted to drop off all the food and the fixings and the things. Here's the other thing. Everyone wants to feed people at Thanksgiving. Everyone. And so the idea of this meal just getting dropped off, even though we had kept the relationship a little tenuous, didn't feel quite right. And I was fortunate enough to spend time with these ladies and to be in relationship. And yes, they wanted a Thanksgiving meal, but there was a whole lot else going on. There was a lot of people who weren't getting to spend the time with their family or their kids. There was a lot of grief and a lot of sorrow. And there was a lot more that they needed than just food. And I think of Jesus asking the disciples, "Do you love me?" When we love people, we often have to act outside of our preferences. We have to do things that make us uncomfortable. We have to give up of ourselves. These women didn't want a meal dropped off and left to just eat by themselves. They wanted Thanksgiving. They wanted the whole experience, because what do we do on Thanksgiving? We hang out with people and we cook. We pass down stories and traditions. We ended up coming together for a meal that we invited a few of our people to come and teach these women how to cook. We spent a few days cooking together. They learned tips and tricks in the kitchen. I learned tips and tricks in the kitchen because I will always listen to my church ladies when it comes to what to do in the kitchen. We made cookbooks of a full Thanksgiving dinner. The gravy and the stuffing, not just whatever we printed out from the New York Times, which I'm sure is great, but the recipes from these families, the things we had taught them to cook, and the things we ate together. There was so much more needed than just feeding. It was so much more than just satiating hunger, but satiating a much deeper need that we all have. A need to feel included and loved, to be a part of a family, to matter, to be wanted. Jesus calls the disciples to feed my sheep. And I really don't think it's just about food. Certainly food helps. Food always helps. This church knows that. But it is so much more than just food on a plate. It is relationship. It is community. It is everything that goes into the food and everything around it. It is the life-giving breath of the Spirit that sustains one another. It is the relationships we build here around these tables on Tuesdays and Sundays and a whole lot of days in between, because I pop around here and y'all are always doing something. Jesus' invitation in this Easter season is for us to be people that look not just how to do the basic, but to look at the deeper levels of need and yearning in our communities and in humanity. It is how Jesus calls us to love him through loving one another, not just passively taking care of, but opening our hearts to be in relationship. Frankly, I'm preaching to the choir on this one, all of you, as a community that does this so well and so deeply. And I know it is a lesson that is easier said than done. And I pray, one, we can continue to show and shine in the world our deep love and commitment to love one another as Christ loved us and to feed each other in body, mind, and spirit. Amen.